All right, welcome to the third review of the evening. Up this time is Soccer Kid. Um, Disaster. An alien of the cup collecting kind has stolen the World Cup. Surprisingly, they are actually calling this the World Cup, as in the
Yeah.
soccer trophy.
Also, more relevantly, they kind of failed to do that. It got blown up.
Yeah. Double disaster. In a collision with an asteroid, the trophy is smashed into 5 pieces and scattered across the globe. That is one durable trophy. Like, I know it got broken, but only 5 pieces and rather, a million.
Or,
Join Soccer
dust.
Kid in his quest to recover and reassemble the World Cup. His unbelievable ball skills are put to the test like never before. That was their pun, not mine.
Did it hurt you all the same?
Yes, it did. It's awesome arcade all the way with a blistering soundtrack to match. Right. Right. So Soccer Kid here. Bit of an odd bird in the sense that, this is not a soccer game in the sense that you are playing a game of soccer or association football for the international audience. But I'll note they called this game Soccer Kid to appeal to an international audience, read Americans, because we're just never calling this football.
Mm-hmm.
Europe just needs to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know it doesn't make sense to call American football, a football, but it's called football. We're not changing that. It's not changing.
It's been called football for over 100 years. Live with it.
Yeah, and also the British invented soccer, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's because only the British would shorten association to soccer.
Yeah. Anyway, so Soccer Kid isn't a game of soccer; it's a soccer-themed platforming game, as you can see here. Literally, it's you are using the soccer ball as your main weapon.
And sometimes traversal tool.
Yes. So, once again, the Pico game on Steam is a DOS-boxed version of the IBM PC version, which is once again just why did you pick this one? Because Soccer Kid does not have any shortage of ports. Because this thing was apparently ported to the 3DO, Amiga CD32, Atari Jaguar, Game Boy Advance, MS-DOS, PlayStation, and even the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Granted, that one has a weird name, like they called it something. The Adventures of Kid Cleats over here.
Which sure.
Yeah.
Not the worst name you've heard for it.
No, but definitely gets the point across less than Soccer Kid, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Point is, they picked the IBM PC version of this, so over to the Galax with the DOS box issues that he's been complaining about.
So this one, I mean, it worked, but the only controls it has are arrow keys for movement, WASD doesn't even work, and spacebar for button. And it does read other things, like when you're quitting the game, you have to hit Y or N to confirm quit or change your mind. And there are a couple of other times, and escape is how you get into that menu, I think. But other than that, those are the only buttons. This is a game that was designed to be played, or at least from what I found, on a one-button joystick. So it has 4 directional, technically 8 directional inputs.
I'm willing to bet that's an Amiga thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And 1 button.
Yeah.
The button is used for many things. Among them is not jumping. You have to press up on the directional thing to jump, which frankly put me off almost entirely, almost immediately.
There's a reason
Yeah,
why
that
that's put down as a cardinal sin.
well, no, that's the Commodore heritage at play here. Because if you remember, like the C64 arcade stick, that only had one button, and I'm
Hmm.
willing to bet, whatever they were programming for the Amiga had that same control.
Hmm. Oh yeah. The other thing is that this game does not come with instructions, and there's actually a decent amount of movement, etc. tech in the game that is in the manual because I found the manual for the frickin' Amiga version in a PDF that told me some of the things you can do, such as summon the ball back to you by pressing the button when it's not there, jump on top of the ball to jump higher. Apparently, you can do headers and kick the ball in a couple of different directions too, but those are really hard, and I didn't manage those anyway because the controls are not great. And some of the reviews of this do also mention that from people who liked the original, that the controls are kind of laggy in this. So I don't know, maybe they were having nostalgia, or maybe it's not a great port. You
Once
do get more points if you beat enemies in ways other than just kicking the ball right at them, which is
once again,
tricky. Which is a little bit tricky because you have to be pushing a direction to kick it, but if you push the wrong direction, you'll jump. Whereas you can kick it up and diagonally, and if you just tap the button, he'll start juggling the ball with his feet, which is cool, and you can do stuff from there. But one thing you can't do from there is kick it immediately. You have to stop doing that, or time and press a direction and kick. So yeah, anyway, so your goal is to go through the levels, avoiding hazards and kicking balls at dudes, and also collecting the whatchamacallem. Oh, is that what you're supposed to fucking do with those?
I guess I just did that on a whim.
I could never get the question mark things to react because, unlike every other collectible object in the game, apparently you have to kick the ball at them and can't do it just by touch. You can collect things by kicking the ball at them, to be clear. And in some cases you have to, because there's some that are through narrow passages that Soccer Kid can't actually fit through. But yeah, apparently that's how that works. Would have been nice because that tells you how many of the soccer cards that are at each level that you're supposed to collect there are. You start with 2 hearts, of which you lose one every time you take damage, and apparently there are ways to get more of those, but I couldn't find any, at least so far as I got. And yeah, on the title screen, this is a neat little feature. If you press left and right on the title screen, you can change the 2 colors of Soccer Kid's uniform. And
awesome.
that persists in gameplay, so you can make him look like whatever your favorite soccer team is, because you have one of those, presumably.
No time to be lost.
Yeah, there's the fucking instructions that I was, well, not instructions, but at least basic goals. It tells you that there are cards, and it tells you how many cards there are, which is important because there are always the friggin' 10 or 11 slots down there. Anyway, there are 3 stages each in each of 5 countries. I believe there's a boss at the end of each country, but I have not gotten to the end of any of them. The first one, you always start in England. This game also has the classic early platformer syndrome of it's not clear what you can stand on. I believe the phone booth is stand-onable, but most roofs aren't. Parts of some trees are. Shit like that.
Right.
I think the food is just for points. I have never. You don't regain life or anything for that I've seen. Yeah, and the enemies are just generally random dudes who seem to be going about their own business aggressively. There are a lot of things. I did find it pretty not worth the effort to try to kick the ball over a pit and grab it on the other side. It's better to just like jump and then summon it back to you on the other side. Also, there are a lot of pits that are not game overs that have little things on the bottom, but not all of them, because of course.
And here we have a random dude doing his day that apparently almost killed me.
Yep, that's about how it goes. The Amiga manual that I found had names for all of the enemies.
I named them bullshit.
Some of them, yeah. That the hit detection is also not amazing. Some of the names are things you couldn't necessarily get away with today, especially for the Japanese stage.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to it. It's a very basic old platformer that I guess has some nostalgia value, and there is some meat to it in terms of the tech you can do with the ball, I guess. But overall, this game has a lot of stuff that the platformer genre has evolved past, with like good reason. Okay, I
It's
guess
also,
the treasure chests sometimes have healing hearts in them.
it's also, how do I put this, a Western developed platform game, and
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff like up to jump and stuff were semi-standard in some of the Western platformers of the era.
yep. And it's got that, it's got that kind of design. I'm just saying, in general, they produced, especially European platformers are very different from other beasts. Like, it's got that European level design that I've never really enjoyed.
Like, give this game a D-pad and a 4-face button control scheme that has like a jump button, a recall button, and then like high and low kick or something.
Once again, that's why I lamented, like, they didn't emulate the Super NES version.
Yeah, and it could have been a good game, but as it is, I don't feel like it really is. Right. Unless you two have nostalgia for it, and even then, this might not be the best port.
Yeah. Like, the reviews on Steam are not kind to this particular version of Soccer Kid.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about what I got from it. Like,
but at least it has a Golden Grams tie-in.
Yeah, apparently they had Golden Grams licensing.
I
get the idea. The plot is dumb, but
it's a platform game.
You can have dumb plots in a platformer. And even like the idea of using a soccer ball as a weapon and traversal thing is kind of neat. You could maybe even include some power-ups for it, like later on you could gain the ability to teleport to where the ball is if you kick it somewhere or something. I don't think the ball exists when you kick it off screen here, so that doesn't work. But I'm just thinking like a modern version of this could be good.
Yeah.
But I don't think this really is.
All right. In terms of pricing, this will clock in at $6.99 usually, though it typically goes on sale for $2.44, which it is at time of recording.
So yeah, if you do want to play this, I strongly recommend. Also, I think you can ride around on the ball by like holding down the button while you're on it.
We can test that. Maybe.
Well, once you get to an area where it's not going to go up on something and there aren't guys killing you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, maybe it's not. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, it works.
There was some tech in the manual that was just, again, there's neat stuff here, but the game doesn't actually fucking tell you how to do any of it. You have to read the manual or figure it out yourself by accident.
Oh, and apparently there's an invincibility power-up.
There is an invincibility power-up. It's pretty rare. I think this one is always here because it comes right before fucking falling brick hell. But yeah, that's really so $6 or less. Maybe. Again, if there's another version of this, that version is probably better.
All
Or
right,
like
so-
if you know how to play DOS games on your own and customize your own DOS box and fucking customize the controls or something. You know?
Uh-huh. All right. As I was going to say, so that'll about do it for Soccer Kid here. Be sure to tune in after the break, as we'll be reviewing Super Ember Kaboom.